Ready?
Okay.
Alright. So hi guys, you're tuned in with the Dcode podcast. This is the third episode and my name is Fernando. I'm your host. I'm with the beautiful Jo and Leila, our co-hosts for the day. So before we start, I would like to mention a big thank you to our sponsors. Main sponsor, which is YMCA Sri Lanka, as well as the Nest by Hub9, which is our new partner, as well as our other partners, which is DTX Drink and Revive Act Clothing. So, Joy?
Yeah, so let me give you a small introduction for those of you who don't know what Dcode is, right? So it's a platform for young entrepreneurs where, they can come and they can, it's like forming a stage for themselves, talking about the dark side, the light side, everything, things that people don't regularly talk about. So this is the place where we're going to do that. So, like I always say, we have an interesting round of guests, right? So episode 1 we had a really good time, episode 2, so episode 3. Super. So 3 we're having a special guest and I'm so excited to see how it's gonna go. So yeah, would you like to introduce our guest for today?
Yes. So our guest for today, he's the co-founder of a real estate company which is called Central 7. Yeah, and he is Dulmit.
Yes.
Hi Dulmit, welcome to the Dcode podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, not bad. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Let's go. So before let's just get the ball slowly rolling. You make it comfortable as well. So Dulmit, let's just talk about, before we go deep into this thing, let's just talk about go-karting. We went through your okay. So we went through your I personally went through your Instagram thanks to Leila here.
Oh.
And we found go-karting. What is this?
That's kind of your interest, right? Like
Racing is one of the sports, right?
Yeah. So do you still
race,
still do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why did you choose it as like a career path? Was it like
It's a very competitive sport.
Yeah.
I love competition. I think business is also one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why I also liked going into the business things, because of the amount of competition that is involved in whatever industry you're in, right? Like it's all about racing is the same. You got to take out the driver who is faster than you.
So is it something you do leisurely or do you like
races? So because of this whole problem, we haven't had a couple of races for some time, but we still on and off we go practice and stuff like that. But yeah, we so the main one of the main races it's an endurance. 8 hours. So it's a constant race for 8 hours. 3 drivers. You have your crew, and it's basically, if you want to win that race, it's all about like you've got to have the best team on track, and you need very fast drivers, and you need a good strategy as well, because 12 hours you've got to like sort of figure how you're gonna finish it.
So, which means you're using that experience, that knowledge, like you said, building a good team.
I guess it's
and strategy.
The
And the
competition and like
you have. Bringing that to my next question. Let's talk about what Central 7 is. Yeah. So what is Central 7?
So we are a brokering and investment company. We started in 2017. I started off with 2 of my friends, and we've got a team of 5, and that's including me, my partners, and 2
you started
employees.
in
2017.
2017.
Yeah. I actually have 5 years experience. I started the first company I started didn't work. Me and my partner, we sort of we had 2 different directions, and after I started Central 7, it was very good. I had a good relationship with my partners,
so How did you get to Central 7? Like,
how was the concept, bro?
how did you get what was your life before Central 7? Like,
get into real estate.
Like, how did you find that path?
So like I said again, racing being a very competitive sport, I wanted to do something that that is competitive, right? Like
which is true. Real estate is
it's very competitive. Like
very
if you want to dominate, if you want to like do well in the industry, you've got to like you have to sort of like it's very competitive. You have to work very hard for it.
What's real estate in Sri Lanka like? What have you noticed? Real estate in Sri Lanka like?
In the sense of like at the moment.
At
the moment, prices have dropped. It's definitely not the market prices that were before the pandemic.
Because of COVID, no?
Yeah. And people with financial problems, they sold properties for undervalued properties, and it's and now is a really good time to invest in real estate because as soon as this pandemic is over,
when
prices
go
up
booming up.
So now is the best time.
Now is the best time. So, like, do you think that how long would it take for us to reach that market that we were in before COVID?
I think 2 years.
2 years.
Back to where we back to the. What you mean is back to the normal
back
market price? I feel like probably 1.5 years.
1.5 years. So is it like really bad? Like some industries it has hurt a lot, right? So is this one of that kind of industry?
It has a lot of effect when it comes to pricing, right? Like the average prices are no more the same like it used to be. So it's definitely gone down like a lot. And now even for us being real estate agents, it's something that we have to sort of now. Right after the pandemic, we have to also get knowledge on now what is the going price? Because if we have a buyer, we cannot advertise something that was priced before, right? Because you've got you constantly have to be in it. Like you've got to always be updated.
What do you think is central on the competitive edge?
Sorry?
The competitive edge.
Yeah.
For you to boost yourself like past the others. What do you think in your perspective, Central 7, if you would, do you get me? Like Central 7,
okay.
Like what do you think in your perspective you want to, for your customers, for those who are willing to come to your company, what do you think it will?
So what I feel is, brokering real estate brokering is not something that people have a good image about.
Yeah.
Right?
Why is that?
Yeah, because
why is that?
you see a lot of people like even these guys on the streets and stuff, like they want to make a quick buck, so like that knowledge, they don't have that knowledge of how the prices work and stuff like that, and it can be also a little bit of a dangerous field as well, where you get like clashes between brokers as well, and and sometimes it's not they don't like work professionally, and owners have a bad image of brokers, and so sort of like, and they also don't put themselves in the buyer's position in their shoes, right? Like you want to know, like for example, if you told me you want to invest in a property, right, and you had a budget of this much, and where let's say you wanted Colombo 5, right, I would consult you, or I would advise you and tell you where you should go buy. If there's something that is that is priced like overpriced, I would never I could make something of it, right? But I wouldn't want that reputation, because I wouldn't want you to buy the property and sort of
and then
I just make money off it. So we have a good relationship with our clients where we keep it very open with them as well.
That's I think that is crucial, like keeping that open vibe with your clients as well is number one.
So like definitely when you work with people, you probably come across difficult clients, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that we talk about.
Right.
But recently, not as much.
Oh.
During the pandemic.
Okay. So just spicy. Just tell us a story.
So there, I mean, not everyone's the same, not every person's the same.
You don't need to tell names. If you want, you can, but don't tell them.
So like I said before, it's a lot of people have a very bad impression on brokers. The
Yeah.
minute you make that first call, they're like, oh, okay, you're agents, alright, like they don't take you sometimes take you seriously. Sometimes if we have the buyer, we have to visit the property, we have to see the property before we take the buyer, right? So like owners think that's a waste of time and stuff like that. Because the lack of information that an image and a description can provide is not enough.
Yeah.
That is why that's when Proptech gets involved.
Okay. What is Proptech?
Proptech is property technology.
Oh, property.
So basically, you're using technology to sort of put out more information about the property.
Okay.
It's you
So
can
Proptech,
do it in many different ways.
So it's your company as well, right? Proptech.
Proptech is no, I don't have a Proptech startup yet.
Okay.
I'm working on something.
Okay.
Which
Something for the future.
Sorry. Yes.
Something for the future.
Yes, it's a tech startup.
Yeah.
I have a tech co-founder, and we are actually on the lookout for an investor because that requires a big capital. And
Durmit, you're also into this the tech side of this, right? Tell me like what got you there?
In the sense of Proptech.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why, I'll give you one example, right? Let's say you were to buy a house, right? And you have a certain requirement that you need.
Okay.
Let's say your agent found a property for you within your budget, right?
Okay.
A house.
Okay.
Right? But let's say you need a room downstairs with a washroom or something that fits your requirement, right? Usually agents have that information where they sort of get that information for you, or the images that are provided to you should be able to sort of give you that information. But there's so much information that an image can provide.
Yes, like
that's
going to
very
that
limited.
venue itself.
Yes, so you wouldn't get an idea of how big the room is or how big exactly the property is and stuff. So that is a lack of information. So, but for example, now a 3D walkthrough could provide so much more information for you. Right? You'd have a better idea of how big the space is, and even if you want to measure from one wall to
How
another.
do you bring in this 3D? How do you integrate this into your customers' view? Is there anything way you all?
It's a software.
Okay.
It's a camera. It's a device. How it usually works is you scan the property, right?
Yeah.
For example, let's say this property was for sale. We scan the property and we upload it on our platform.
Okay.
Right? So this way, let's say, so now currently how it works is, let's say if I brought 10 buyers here, out of those 10 buyers, probably 2 would be really interested. Because the whole thing would fit into that person's requirement. If there are any changes that need to be done, very minimal changes. Just break something and make those changes, right? Those 8 you've wasted a lot of time, and they've wasted a lot of time
as well,
coming and like seeing the property. So you could, if you have the 3D walkthrough, you could sort of get rid of those 8.
So it's like time management as well.
Time management, and like they also
in the sense when I say get rid of is you're providing more information.
More information for the.
You're saving their time.
And as well as yours as well.
And the owners.
And like making more easy for
people
both parties to interact.
So like I'm pretty sure that not everyone has got into this kind of whole technology, right? I don't think most people do it. Do they do it?
Proptech? Proptech is not really. I haven't really come across anyone who is doing it like.
Because I haven't heard about that.
In a big way. But obviously, like in the US and Europe and stuff, it's a very.
That's what it is.
It's huge there. Right? Like here, I feel like the technologies we're very far behind when it comes to technology. And for example, like the 3D walkthrough and stuff, that technology already exists. So even me and my colleague, what we are doing is we are sort of like that's what any business does. You have a problem in the industry.
You try to fix it,
right?
the pain points.
Exactly.
You want to fix those pain points.
So what we are doing is with my knowledge and me constantly getting more knowledge, I'm trying to figure out other ways where we could use technology to fix those problems, right? Like even things like technology that doesn't exist in the world. we're trying to be the first ones to do it.
That's huge.
That's huge. I
That's
don't think
actually
it's
huge.
something easy to do, right? Because like when you're the first.
You have to have
The vision.
you have to have experience in
And
the
the vision.
yeah. So even if you are to start a Proptech even if you want to start a Proptech company, one is you need your tech co-founder.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's always good if you have a partner who has experience in the industry, because this way that partner could help out and working with the tech partner, to sort of fix a problem, because you wouldn't know what the tech guy knows and the tech guy wouldn't know.
How do you bring that scene? Like, what do you think your perspective of that? Bringing the partner and then like better communication. I think.
Sorry.
Partner and investor.
Partner investors.
Together, like how easy is it to work in this industry?
Right.
Right. Like looking for the right people. Like when it comes to fashion, right? And when it comes to like other things, like there are so many people who wants to get into this, but real estate, right? I feel like it's quite tricky. And then, like even if I'm an investor, I would be like, do I want to really invest on real estate in Sri Lanka? I would rather do something else, right? So how do you kind of,
make the person invest?
Yes.
Because see, real estate is it's an asset.
Yes.
Right, like you will never. It's not like investing in the stock market or into another business, because you could lose your money off.
Yeah.
Right? It's like gold.
Yeah.
So when you invest in gold, it's an asset.
It's an asset.
You have it, and if in the future, let's say you buy a property and you have a financial problem in like 5-6 years time, you could always sell that and get money out of it. Also, there's a constant increase in value. So every year the property value goes up, right?
So definitely
it's a slow. It's not a very fast.
Rather like a marathon.
No, it's not like the stock market, obviously, but it's you have a hold on it. It's yours. Like it's like an insurance, sort of like
Because when we go around Colombo, right, there are new buildings coming up.
Yes.
Right, all these new things. So what do you think? Where do you see this would go? Right. So these are like we have Port City.
Yeah.
Right?
That's an exciting project.
That's an exciting. So where do you think that would?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I think that would kind of increase the whole. But where do you see Sri Lanka in a couple of years? Like these things coming up, and then there's COVID in between all of these, and
I mean, by the time Port City is ready, I think the pandemic also will be under control. We'd have foreign investors and stuff like that, right? Recently, just a couple of days ago, I was talking. Actually, my colleague and I were talking about was. So you have these luxury apartments like ITC, Ritz-Carlton, Shangri-La, and all of those apartments coming up, right? We don't know how that market is going to look like once Port City is open.
Yes.
Because everyone's going to want to run into Port City, right?
Yeah.
Like, and Port City would have like a ton of apartments. Right? And so you can't. It's a bit hard to predict. We don't know if prices will fall.
With the institution of that.
Because everyone would want something. If someone can afford something in Shangri-La, ITC,
flex. I'm at Port City.
Yeah. you can. I'm sure you can invest in Port City as well.
So like most of it, is it like, do you see a lot of local buyers or a lot of foreign buyers?
In the future, we'd have a lot of foreign investors as well. So we also do management as well. That's another thing I forgot to mention was so we manage properties for our investors. So these are all foreign investors.
So how does that process kind of?
So basically, what for example, I'll give you one apartment we're managing is at Shangri-La. One office. Right? So it's a foreign investor, and it's an investment. It's not for them to live, or they want to make money off of it. So our job is to give it on short-term rent and sort of keep the place clean and manage property. So if there is any problems, we are always there. Always there to make sure that everything's under control for the customer. And so like that we have about 3-4 apartments we're managing like that. We have another land in Kolpiti, in front of Cargill's. That also is a good.
Let's talk about location wise. Does that play a major role
when you're investing,
Yeah.
it depends on your budget, and yes, it does play a major role.
Yeah.
So if you are able to afford something at, let's say, Horton, like at Colombo 7 or like Call of Duty Colombo 3, right? You definitely, it is it's an exclusive property. It's like,
what do you think, like, from your experience, from up to now, your clients, where have they mostly, like,
where do people mostly, like
born?
where do they mostly? I mean, it's nothing like that. I guess we have clients who have budgets of like all sorts of areas, right? Like, obviously the most active market is probably the most common areas, right?
What would you say is the most active?
Active location
Yeah.
in Colombo.
Yeah.
I would say Thalawatugura.
Really?
Thalawatugura is developing like crazy.
Very crazy.
Yeah. Even if you see, like, I think it was 2018 or 2019, it had in that 1 year, prices went up really high, like compared to other locations in Colombo. So I feel like Thalawatugura, one is it's also a little further away from the hustle and bustle, and it's Thalawatugura is developing a lot. Halavatta, Bathramula,
So that's
those
like the
areas
area, right? And Colombo is like, do you think, I don't know.
Colombo is more of like a commercial. Very commercial.
Yeah.
Depending on the neighborhood.
So how are you planning to like grow in like, your real
With
estate?
these two types of hustle and bustle as well as
Yeah. Like,
Sorry, in the sense of?
as in like grow as a company, like what would you do? Like would you, like your future ventures and stuff like that?
For Central 7? No?
Yeah, for Central City.
Okay, so for Central 7, we look into we work with all markets, right? Like we are even outside Colombo as well, like even in like Gaul and down south, Kandy, up country, Colombo, everywhere in Colombo. So like we work with, we have at the moment we have 3 field agents. One who is my partner in so he has a lot of experience as well working in the fields. He knows like the current value of how the properties are like, and so eventually we are also looking to hire more field agents because now our workload is getting very much more than what it used to be, because now when you have people working in the company, more work is being done, right? So like there's more information, a lot.
So
I
getting
think
more demand.
we get about nearly 200, 150 properties a month at the moment. Sometimes it can even be more. So just to keep track of all that is a bit difficult. One is, you see, it's not like only having the property on your database. You have to also know if it is still available or not.
What have you implemented?
So what we do is once a week or once in 2 weeks, we have our agents call and get an update of what the situation is like with that particular property. So these days there's a lot of property movement that is happening. A lot of people are buying.
Even within the corona situation, because of the price reduction, is it?
Because of the price reduction. And now slowly
That's the main reason you're getting, it's because of the opportunity of the price reduction.
Yes, it's because now people are, so FDs have, they're not, it's not as how it used to be. So people are, pulling their money out of the banks and investing in real estate, because now is the best time. Even I myself, I'm always constantly looking at, right now I cannot afford inside Colombo, so I'm always looking at areas like, even like Hambantara. Like, get some beautiful properties there and very affordable as well. And anyone who's buying, like, see, real estate, you don't have a limit to it. You can, like, whatever, like, let's say even if you have a budget of like 500,000, you can buy property with that budget. Or it just depends on, like, you cannot probably come into Colombo. Obviously you cannot come into Colombo, but you can definitely buy property. So there is no sort of like, do you have to have this amount to invest in property?
I think sorry.
Yeah.
When we're talking about you, what would you think the best property? What are your preferences when you say, okay, I want this property?
If I wanna.
Yes.
If I didn't have a limit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
I would.
like more than $1 million.
I'd definitely need more than $1 million.
More than $1 million.
I would probably go into Colombo 7 and Port City and Colombo 3 inside Colombo and.
Why Colombo 3?
Sorry?
Why
Colombo 3 is very commercial, even like if you look at the
Convenience.
rentals, if you look at the rentals, it's, it's quite, you can get your return on it.
So like, now you were talking about, like Hamilton, like Gaul and all those areas, right? So
Dutch is another.
Dutch.
Hospital
Yeah.
Gaul is the most expensive.
Okay.
One of the most expensive in Sri
So
Lanka.
do we see people venture out to these areas, or is it still a bit stagnated in Colombo? Or do people just...
No, they do it again, like I said, it depends on the budget. So like if if you are willing to invest about 400K in real estate, you probably have to go somewhere else.
Okay, so tell
far
me the
away.
process. Like, okay, we'll say I want to invest like 500K, and I'm telling you I want to land in Gaul,
Okay.
right? So how would the process go?
Good location.
Gaul would be a little bit difficult, but probably like a little further.
So I'm coming to you and I'm asking, okay, now
Do it.
I want this
You
land.
act it out. Do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually want this land, okay, but this is all I have, right? So as an agent, how would you help me?
You have a land or you want to buy land?
I want to buy land.
Okay, so I'd first ask like what your budget is like and which areas are you looking at?
Yeah.
And then we start work on. We have a listing with proposals to you. If if anything that you like, we'd take you and show you the property.
Yeah.
If not, we would look for another option, more options for you. Because it's real estate is you cannot like. You can't like buy it on the first go itself, right? Like you have to look at like what is available in the market.
Research
And
about the location itself.
It's also it's an emotional thing as well,
Yes.
right? Like because not you, how many times do you buy property?
It's just
like it's not like, okay, for example, like when we go buy clothes, right?
Yeah.
Clothes we buy it very often, like once a month, but property is not something that you buy many times in your lifetime, depending on the person, right?
From person.
Yeah.
So like apart from tech, what are like the other limitations you see apart from like the tech side and technology
Okay.
in real estate? Anything else that you see like that you think should be improved?
Anything in the sense of
real estate
okay.
as a whole. That's kind of a tough question.
It's very tough.
So basically,
Yeah.
so in Sri Lanka we don't have. So when it comes to let's say brokers, right? We there is no hold on like with the owner. Now, if you look at like Australia or in the US, it's a contract with the agent, right? Like let's say I was your agent, you had a property to sell. Being an agent to you is like it's like being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like it's all on trust and like
I think we
I've
still
got to
don't
be
have
very
this
open.
here, right?
We don't have it's not very popular here.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
because owners prefer to sort of like give it to everyone and anyone who comes by, right? So even let's say like you had a property for sale in in Aussie or somewhere, right? Like I was your agent, we'd sign a contract.
Yeah.
So even if Joanne wanted to buy a property and if she finds you, she cannot like go to you directly. Like she has to work with me and I have to then we start with the paperwork and the negotiating and all that, and then finally we close it. Even if another agent goes to you, it has to go through me basically because I'm your agent. It's a very it's done very professionally in those countries.
The other countries.
Yes. Over here it's not, because those countries you need like license and stuff there. Here also we have license, but like here.
Why do you think people don't do that? Like why don't they go through that process?
I think they think a lot about. See, as humans, we look at what opportunities we have, right? Like if we can get a buyer directly to us, we can cut off that 3%.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So we're
Straight to
saving.
the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't
So-
have much rules here.
Yeah.
Like in foreign countries, I feel like you have a lot of, license and like the
Yeah.
people, the process,
Yeah.
and then
And there I feel like though they're very busy with their everyday lives, and it's easier for them to just hand it over to a real estate agent where
Yeah.
that person take care of the whole thing.
yeah,
Right? Like here here I don't like there you get some people who only work with selected agents, but you also get people who are like, okay, you have a buyer, you can come if you want to buy the property, come.
yeah. So like before real estate, you also had some other companies, right? That you co-founded. So if you can talk about it, so like
Before real estate,
Yeah.
I had it was another real estate company.
oh,
The partnership didn't work out. Like my partner, we fell out.
yeah. I
Every-
mean that happens,
Yeah,
right?
like
anywhere.
if you're going to
You-
if you're going to partner with someone to do something,
yeah.
that person needs to also, both of you all have to be on the same page,
On the
and it's
same
almost
page.
like it's like a marriage, right?
Yes,
Like
yes. A
even
relationship.
yeah, it's a relationship, right? Like even now, me and my colleagues, we do have like arguments, and
Yeah.
that happens with everyone.
It
right?
is.
But we're very
within-
close.
Yes.
Like even as friends, we're
Yeah.
all three of us, like we're very close, and like I can be really mean sometimes, like
Really? It can be really
no, like so I
On the
so I
document.
just tell them up front to their
Really?
faces, and like yeah, I mean, but end of the day, we're still
Are you like
colleagues, we're
that?
still
Are you like that
partners.
scary boss or like that?
I'm not a boss. I'm
You don't
a
like the
partner.
boss? Okay.
No, I'm a partner. So
Okay.
even the arguments or the
Yeah.
little things that we don't sort of like not on the same page.
Yeah.
The three of us, it gets a little
Yeah.
tensed, but end of the day, we always make up. And I mean, we've been going on for 3 years.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Like, it's like
It's
marriage.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
don't
The more
just
you
stop.
find
The more closer you get,
yeah, the more-
should never just
Yeah.
leave the person.
yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
As the last question, then,
Yeah.
if I were to ask you, what would you give an advice for like a entrepreneur who wants to start again, just like you,
Yeah.
of to join real estate? What would you like suggest
So
them
I have
to
got,
do and not to do?
I've got actually friends like who are very much younger, who just finished school and they want to get into real estate, right? So what I advise to them is I tell them first let's work with me, work together,
Yeah.
and get a feel of like how it works and stuff, because you cannot straight away jump into it, because you have the legal part of it as well, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to know not just the on current prices.
Yes.
You've got to know the legal
Everything
aspect
in
of it
beyond,
as
yeah.
well, right? Which I'm also not like 100% comfortable.
I mean, it's a
with
process.
yet.
We're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like, we learn by the day.
Yeah.
It's a
Same,
daily
like,
learning process. Like,
I'm
the day
learning
you make a
every day.
mistake, you
Like,
fix it.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, right? And so like that's why like with my colleague, like if we work together and we
Yeah.
sort of fix the problems, and we somehow so basically what I tell them is they work with me, work with us as a company, and they bring in a lead, introduce us to the owner, and sort of, and whenever we go for the appointments, they also join as well. So then they also have an idea of how it works, what how
Yeah.
it should be done. Because it's like it's sometimes there are properties where owners don't come, where they hand the key over to you, right? So you have to be
With that
really like,
trust.
yeah, that's trust. All
Yeah.
on trust, right? So you have to treat the property like it's yours. Like I always like after me, even my colleague, right? Like he always checks the entire property before, after, and before appointments, right? Because you've got to make sure everything's locked up. And, it's something very personal to the owner,
Yeah.
and he trusts you to
Yeah.
look after his
So
property.
it's built on trust, basically.
100% trust, all trust.
Alright, guys, with that note, I think we are going to conclude the third episode of Dcode. Before we end, I want to give a big thanks to our main sponsors, which is the YMCA Sri Lanka, as well as our venue sponsor, which is Hub 9, the Nest, as well as our other partners DTX, as well as Revive Act. with that, Dulmit, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
such a
It was
smooth
really
round,
smooth and
calm round.
calm
yeah.
and
It was
fun.
like
Yeah, it was good
nice
and
chat.
informative also.
Yeah.
I hope you guys take something out of this. Okay, guys, see you in the next one.